what's going on? It's been a while since we got a chance to chat. Um, I did want to let some time pass and think, because sometimes, a lot of times, people think they take the passion and compassion for anger or frustration or carnality, and that's never the purpose. When I talk to you, my wife, anybody else, I think one of the main things that I'm called to is intimidation, manipulation, and deception. I don't think that's cool at all. I don't like Lucifer. I don't like the devil. He's real slick. You know what I'm saying? He's been doing it for thousands of years, and I just don't like it. You know what I'm saying? And he can turn you all the way around, and what's up is down, and what's down is up, and he had sprinkled a little bit of truth with a whole bunch of lie, and you know it's a lot going on out here. Sometimes we make blanket statements, and sometimes we get specific statements. And like you said, some things can be taken out of content sometimes, and other times we want it to fit so bad that we'll justify it, and or if we don't like it, we'll suppress and pass it, or explain it away. And I've noticed that a lot in church and Christendom, different backgrounds, different churches. I've noticed that a lot. If we really, really want that mug to fit, we'll justify. Oh, we exegese the text just right, and this means that, but that don't mean that because it don't fit what we want. You know what I mean? And it's like, I mean, the truth is the truth. The good, the bad, the ugly. And then sometimes it cuts, and sometimes it's a new, and sometimes when it's new or it look like it's different, then we got to make assumptions that somebody's been fell away from the faith, they lost, they've been bewitched, they've been. I'm just like, wow, that is. I mean, nobody's above rebuke, correction, or deception. Let me start off by saying that, but it's like, wow, that is a big statement. You know what I'm saying? But like we know with this past thing with Nipsey, yeah, it don't take but a second. You know what I mean? They thirsty. They need a Messiah. They need a Mashiach, and that Mashiach is Yeshua HaMashiach, to come back into their life. And even when I was watching the Nick Cannon thing, it was pretty interesting. Um, Nick Cannon got a show called Class or something. He had KRS One on there, and they was going on and on and on. And KRS One was just basically talking about how they need to get, in a nutshell, a set of laws. Because he was the question was who was going to be the next black leader, and this, that, and the other. And they need to have a set of laws. They got to have a government, and you got to govern yourself by them laws and all that. And I immediately thought about, we don't need to. The laws has been set. Messiah, you just got to be reconciled back to Messiah. But people have been having a religious experience, um, an emotional experience, so they have not been reconciled back to the Messiah. And so now it's easy to just be like, oh, we need to start. So we tried that already. That's religion. We tried that already, and dismiss it as religion. But we just got to be restored back to Yeshua, Messiah, and His kingdom and His covenant and His principles and things like that. It's been manipulated. It's been taken. It's been stepped on. It's been half true, false lies. There's been a lot of smoking. It's a lot of smoking guns. There's been a lot of deception. There's been a lot of people taking land, and people taking people identity, and it's just crazy how it's just all over the place. You know what I mean? And people always, that's just one thing that's real funny. People want to be the people, they don't want to deal with the suffering. It's like the suffering comes with being the people. And but anyway, I want to get into some of this too, because I listened to the whole Eric Mason thing. And I mean, I like Eric Mason or whatever, but he was coming off kind of raw on them people. And so I look at both sides. I look at the camps, and I look at what he was saying too. Now on the camps end, what I think people was like, they so extreme and so crazy, and so people get upset and they dismiss the whole. everything, dismiss everything, put everything in a blanket statement, put everything in the same box. And it's like, wow, them camps is all over the place and they need Yeshua Messiah. And one thing that I am glad for, I am glad that I have come to know Yeshua, went through the covenant, went through the whole everything with church, everything, before I got to that part to understanding who we are as a people. And it's not an identity crisis or anything like that, but it's very interesting. It's very interesting. You know what I mean? Um, the things that's going on over in Israel. Well, that's gonna be in my third video. This is the first intro one, then it's the second one, and then it's the third one. And they're not gonna all. You get the third one by the end of the week, and the second one in the middle of the week. The reason I believe in the prophecy that's going on in Israel. I don't believe that the people, majority of the people that's in Israel, are true Israelites. I believe it's a lot of smoke and mirror. I believe it's a lot of deception. It's a lot of hook and crook. The Balfour Declaration wasn't a good thing. It was a terrible and a deceptive thing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to the third one. I don't want to go to the third one yet. I want to just talk about this Eric Mason thing. This kind of it was first of all the camps. Um, if you're saying that if you use the Deuteronomy 28 scriptures, or if you got the slave logs, like I showed you in last year, or the poster said "Fine Young Hebrews." It's a lot of different smoking gun. Israel Hill when we came over here, Kumbaya. That means come by here, my Lord. How do we know about Yah? The white slave owners didn't know nothing about Yah. You get what I'm saying? Um, it's a lot, and now I'm going into the second video. Again, it's not to debunk, to base, to prove anybody wrong, anybody right, or like what Pastor Delos always say, matching wits. It's not about matching wits. It's about the whole scroll. Um, but here's some things that he said that kind of crazy, was kind of interesting to me. You know what I mean? And then my wife was telling me, well, he's got death threats and he's dealt with them on a whole nother different level. So he's going to come with a certain rah-rah. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why I said, man, he need to have that same energy against the Ashkenazi Khazars over there, over in Israel. And he need to have that same energy because we can run up on a Negro in a second. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Gail can run up on R. Kelly in a second, but can you run up on Weinstein? And that's my whole thing. Had that same energy. You know what I'm saying? Oprah want to interview Cosby or whatever, but she's not going to interview them other cats. And it's not a tit for tat. I mean, as I'm saying, we know how to hit each other upside the head real good. Those camps are wrong. First of all, they wrong. You don't run up in nobody's stuff. You get what I'm saying? And start standing up and talking. And what's wrong with you? That's not right. You know what I'm saying? But the little bit of sprinkle of little information that they got, you cannot throw the information out. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater because of their misconduct. That's just like saying we watching this Channel 7 news, and for 4 weeks, for 4 days straight, we see something about killing and the black community. Black man did this, black man did that, black man, blah, blah. You cannot sit from your couch and make the assumption and lump all black people. Man, them black people is wilding and they're thieves and we wouldn't do that. So in the same sense, we wouldn't say, well, look at that camp. That camp ran up in there and was going to fight and they made death threats to them, and that's terrible. I wouldn't wish that at all on nobody. That is really, really crazy. But now it's like, okay, see, this is the reason why we need to lump it all together and throw all of this away. And it's like, nah. Just because of what they doing, I'm not gonna just dismiss it. Second thing, we talked about the servant and the son. Like that, no, so we're talking about like being a servant. Like if you Israel by blood on the inside, you're a servant. But when you're under the new covenant, you're a son. I'd rather be a son than a servant. That's like going back under slavery and putting chains back on you. Again, we are saved by grace through faith. We understand that. We know that. We're not trying to mix the law with grace. We do that anyway in our colonialism churches anyway. We know how to mix the grace and the law without being any of this. We good at that. We've been doing it for years, so we know how to do it. So it's not about, but it's just crazy. Like when God talked to the Hebrews on the backside of the mountain, on the back deserts, He made a covenant with Abraham. He made a covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I understand what the scripture we talking about in Galatians is he's a son. But when you under the new covenant, I'm sorry, a servant. But when you're under the new covenant, you are a son. It just so happened that you was from the nation of not the nation, the from the Hebrew nation, one of the 12 tribes. You're a son. Oh, you claiming to be one of the servants? One of the 12 tribes. You must want to be a servant and go back under bondage, and you got an identity crisis. Whoa, all of that, really? Because it's the end time. He said, "Have Israel fell asleep?" In Romans 9:10-11. God forbid slip fell on them until the fullness of the Gentiles came in. And so start more and more people starting to waking up. It's not like who am I? What am I trying to find? It's like we're not trying to wake up. It's just, oh my God, really? Wow, this is very interesting. And so the internet has brought us and the other different things has brought us together and to say, well, wow, they're waking up slowly. Those little unity things, even with the Nipsey, the death of Nipsey, you got Bloods and Crips coming together. Now, it can't be no. See, this is the problem where I have with the black community. Not the problem, but they think we're gonna just get some land, do a Black Wall Street, get some businesses, get some kind of black leader, and we're gonna be on our way. Oh, this earth is not our home. We will have good times, stuff like that. But this earth is not our home. We understand that. Right now, the whole thing need to be reconciliation to Mashiach. It's reconciliation to Mashiach. And I understand the whole thing. Well, man, I don't want to tell them who they are because if I tell one, it don't matter who they are because their identity is in Christ. Blah 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 blah. Okay, I feel you on that. But then to say I don't want to tell them who they are because they might get start being proud again and all of this. But you can't hide information from them because you think they're gonna be proud. You share the gospel with them, and then you let them know that too as well. I mean, look, man, this book is about us. When I open up Jeremiah, when I open up Isaiah, when I open up Numbers, when I open up books, I be like, wow, it makes sense. I see what the Negro is doing today. Man, stiff neck, crazy, man, it makes sense. I'm not trying to fit a square peg into a round hole at all. It makes so much. I just be like, wow, it's jumping off the pages now. But there's some things that he said that was kind of tripping me out a little bit. And I said, again, I had my wife said, well, he's getting death threats. He's getting different things like that. So he had a different outcome or a different experience. And, so he said that basically the truth. I wrote down some points. Truth without love is condemnation. That's true, man. So you can have the right thing. You can say the right thing and the wrong way, and then it don't matter because you're not reaching nobody. Then he said, ethnic heritage is another gospel. Ethnic heritage is another gospel. How did he get ethnic heritage out of that? Again, maybe because some of the camps he's dealing with in Philly. Then he said, safe proof from the Hebrew Israelites camp. Protect the flock against all false doctrine. And then he said, Hebrew Israelism is a myth. Like, what? I understand these camps are clowning. Hebrew Israelism is a myth. You got to prove your salvation. You got to prove your salvation. If people still think that a lot of the Negroes still think that they're Gentile, they're still proving their salvation to this day and trying to get. You already know that, trying to get into God's favor again. That's crazy. The gospel was more important than nationality. Well, you try to tell that to some of our European brothers and sisters. The gospel was more important than nationality. These cats are proud. They're Irish and they're Christian. They Italian and they're Christian. They're Russian and Christian, and they will let you know in a heartbeat. And I'm not saying it's right because they do it. And some of them in the New York Minute will be like, "Hey, I'm Russian and I'm Christian," and I don't even know if St. Patrick's got a pagan origin to it, but let them be Irish and a Christian. They gonna go through the whole ritual and the whole motion. Feel what I'm saying? They ain't gonna But we've been without a quote unquote identity for so long. It's been erased. It's been eliminated. That's why when we're after slavery, that's what we call brother. That's my brother. That's my sister. Because you never know whose brother, whose sister was who was what. Oh, you brother, sister. So that's why we got. That's why we call brothers and sisters. You already know that. But I'm just saying. And then looking for an identity. I don't know why everybody go to Kemet. I don't know. Egypt was a part of. They had a quote unquote success, but they had success off the back of Hebrew slaves. Hebrew slaves. So the Hamites was lording over the Shemites, where they mixed. They was mixed. Um, and but they was it was a class system. Pharaoh and his people, they ruled over the Shemites and them people, the Semitic people. And so it's like, well, nah, man, we don't. If that's it's almost the same thing to me as putting on the swastika and praising Hitler. Are you crazy? You lost your mind? Did you know what Hitler did? We could say that same thing about Kemetic. Are you crazy? Do you know what they did to us, man? You know what I'm saying? We already had a God. They had Ra. They had all that. We had a God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of Israel. You know what I'm saying? So he said genealogy don't further the gospel. I feel him on that. Genealogy don't further the gospel. That don't matter. But the whole book is about genealogies. It's a history book about people. It's a history book about a people. Um, and we were supposed to not, and I don't make it exclusive to people that's black is only Hebrew and only Israel. I'm not saying that. But it's a history book about people. It's like, look, I'm gonna tell you're my oracle in the earth. I love you not because you're so big and so mighty. You're just small in the earth, and I'm gonna put you on the backside of the mountain in the desert, and I'm gonna show you my laws and my covenant, and you're gonna show the rest of the world about me. Tell them about me, who I am. You're gonna lead by example. You're gonna lead by example. Think about this. Before Saul became kings, Yah was our king, right? And if we start looking at other nations, we want to have another king like that. And that's what's going on right now with the identity crisis, with the whole Nipsey Hussle thing. Man, we need a savior, we need a Messiah, we need a king, we need a kingdom. You got one already. You have to be reconciled to him. You have blood on the inside, but you need the blood on the outside to be washed. And so that's what needs to happen. Saved by grace through faith. That's what needs to be happening. But I don't know if it's a fear thing or what, but so he said genealogy don't further the gospel. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So then he said the gospel is more important than nationality. Okay, take that. I think I said that. So further discussion, fruitless discussion. What is not a talking about if we are the people or not is a fruitless discussion. Then he put out the first Timothy 4:1 scripture. Some will depart from the faith. And I had Second Timothy 22:22 and Second Timothy 3. I gotta read those. I should have wrote those down. And then he put out the Second Peter 2, false prophets with destructive heresy. Then he said genealogy and mythology is fallacy. And then he was saying we don't need to be caught up with foolish ethnocentric ends. And he said, lay down. This one was really trippy. He said, lay down the sin of nationality. In America, preacher in America said, lay down the sin of nationality. Yeah, we are a kingdom. We are a part of a king. We are a part of a kingdom. I'm not saying that is our bloodstained banner. That is our part. Man, you got people putting up Democrat before the kingdom. I'm not justifying it. I'm just listen. You got people putting up Republican before the kingdom. You got people that think white conservative is Christianity. The high, mighty, arrogant, racist views. That is not the kingdom. So we've been having sloppy agape everywhere. And then he started talking about the Chosen People book from Jacob Dorman or something. I ain't even read that book. I mean, it's not about that. Then he said Barack Obama versus the Black Hebrew. Then he started talking about read those books. You need to safeguard your trade. He started talking about getting guns and security guards. And I understand that because where we at, people ain't running up in there and all that. Guard the sheep and protect. Man, you sound scared. Man, ain't nobody. Hey, we live in these times. It's crazy. Um, but then when it's time for the Babylon of 10 by Rudolph Windsor, and he was talking about the migration of the Hebrew to Africa and other places like that, he went over that book real quick. He's like, yeah, and there's a little Babylon 10. I was like, no, say who the author is, show the cover, show the book. I'm not saying he was trying to hide anything. Say that book, man. Maybe because the Hebrew Israelites used that book to talk about the lineage and stuff like that. He just and they had the book that he was just razzled, man. I'm just like, dude, I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. Okay, and so I'm at the point where you at. And I also it's two more parts to this. Um, I really don't be pulling out YouTubes, but I'm gonna pull out. I'm gonna send a spreadsheet. You click on that YouTube and it'll show some stuff. And it's like all or nothing. He read Deuteronomy 28. He must believe everything they believe. No, I'm not even coming from that camp. When I had got the information, I got it from Tebu, Darby, Bishop, uh, Bishop Danny Coleman. All these dudes are strong men in the faith, right? They're not really a part of the camp. But I'm not going to just ostracize away from the camp because they acted a fool. We're real patient with the European Christians, and they have been doing some crazy stuff. I know I probably sound real black and angry right now, or whatever, but we real patient. We chew the meat and spit out the bones for you to have a church service and then have a picnic and a hanging right after that. How are you going to win people? You guys say God is the spirit of truth. They that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. You can't whitewash the gospel. We supposed to me, you, Brian, everyone, we supposed to been had that. You know what I'm saying? Talked about some of that stuff. And so we know how to beat a Negro right upside the head so good. We're professional. We like that movie, The Django, when the two Negroes was wrestling in the ground to the death, and the other guys watching. We know how to fight each other. We are programmed religiously to fight each other, um, intellectually. We know how to fight each other. You know what I'm saying? But first of all, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We know that. You know what I'm saying? But there's two more parts to it. I'm gonna share. But that was some of the things that he had put up in there, and I understand. I understand. I'm like when I heard about they running up in there, I was just like, man, he just gonna mess my case up when I start telling people about the truth, because they gonna just put me in that same boat with them people, and I'm like, oh. You know what I'm saying? I just can't. But it happens anyway when I go tell people about, what, we have a king, we have a kingdom, we need to be reconciled back to Yeshua. Oh, we tried Jesus already. And then they put up memes about the Catholic Church, and they can't differentiate between Protestantism and Catholicism because they're not in the faith. They can't differentiate between those. We can't differentiate. We still got a Pope, Catholic hierarchy too, embracing all of the pagan um uh festivals and holidays. I think that's another thing that's kind of weird too. How we're free, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? We are free. We are the new covenant, and at one time the feast of the cup, the feast of the tabernacles, and all of those different things were of God. There was a shadow of things to come, but it's real. So we said we're free from that. We ain't got to do those no more. I feel you. We ain't got to worship on Saturday. we gonna just worship on Sunday because we rest in all the ways. Because in Jesus can't no. I feel you. Explain that away. That's good. Some people are like, oh no, we need to worship on Saturday. Other people, oh no, well we they explain it away, and that's fine. Either way, we worship on Saturday or Sunday. But when it comes to the pagan holidays, we love them so much, we explain it away. Valentine's, Easter, Christmas, um, all of them, we explain them away. So we like, man, we got to quarantine this brother and make him look like a crackpot so we can continue on in our pagan rituals. And that always drives me. It's amazing to me. But it is what it is, and that's that grace coming out to say, man, you know what? I mean, it is what it is. God, what I'm gonna stay true to my convictions, but that strain at a gnat but swallow a camel is real interesting to me. We 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 will explain it away because that's what we want to do. But on one other end, we want to be true. We so true. Oh, we on the truth, and I'm gonna let the Bible speak for. I'm gonna let the Bible look. And then when it comes to that, we straight explain it away because that's what we want to do, and it's okay, and we make light of it. So we prophesy much. I mean, we prophesy in part, we pray in part, different things like that, and we have the deposit, which is the Ruach, the Holy Spirit, and again, it's not to fight. It's not to do none of that. People can explain it away or rebuke it or debunk it or this. I don't agree. Well, that's fine. It is what it is. But I'm just saying, it's just real interesting. But these are strong words. Again, nobody's above rebuke, correction, or deception. I'm not saying that. Foolish ethnocentric ends. The genealogy and mythology is fallacy and lay down the sin of nationality. Oh, I was like, wow. And I hate to make it a white and black thing, man. But these European, there I go. Man, these European seminaries, right? They doing a good job on us, man. They doing such a good job on us. My God, man. Till we believe right is wrong, wrong is right. And it's crazy. Not all of it, but I'm saying when you read this book and the genealogy and what's happening and what's going on, and it don't fit how you want it to fit, you're going to come up with systematic theology to make it fit how you want it to fit. Now, I get what you're saying as far as, well, nation in one day, and it's been 50 years of this and 70 years of that. I get that. All that stage over there, that can be set. But when you made a comment, Israel is the little Satan and America is the big Satan, it is. And I don't want to get into my second video, my third video, but it is. You know what I'm saying? It's that one wayward kid who ain't had that good whooping. You know how it is. That one kid, you give them a little bit of grace, or they ain't really got whooped up, and they just get besides themselves. Like, oh, you just think that you just gonna say and do and not pay and not do anything. I'm not trying to get vengeance. God say vengeance is mine, and I'm not trying to be like Jonah and say get him, Lord, either. But we're not the good guys on God's. This country is Luciferian, and to think other, that means that CNN, TBN, Fox News, they did a really good job on us. They did a really good job on us, and it's amazing to me. It's really, really amazing to me. And Russia did this, and the Islamic world did that, and we don't even have the whole story. But I'm getting into my other videos, and even with the Gaddafi thing, you know what I'm saying? When they had Gaddafi in the street, that place is unrest. It's crazy now that Gaddafi is not in there. He was about to turn the money back into a gold system. He had a lot of things set in place over there that he was about to do, and he probably was going to come from underneath the Khazar banks, the Ashkenazi banks, the Rothschild bank system. Notice we going to war with everybody a lot of them countries don't have a Rothschild bank system. They don't have a bank. They don't have that Rothschild bank system, that fiat money that they can control and manipulate. Then it's time to go to war. It's time to go to war. Then on the surface, they tell the people it's about terrorism and the enemies of God. And who's going to evangelize to the Muslim if they the enemies of God? Or just like the Philistines, man, I ain't finna go into that right now. But rebuke it, debunk it, say what you need to say. I got 2 more videos and then I'm off of it. Perfect.